Bisbee, and today I want to run you through the installation of a Bristan Artisan Evo Digital shower. If you hear a few bumps and bangs in the background, that's because we're on a working building site. There's work going on all over the place, but we're safely tucked away in this bathroom, and I just want to run you through the basic installation. Where this Bristan Digital shower differs from other showers in their range is instead of having to have the pipes coming through the shower wall, the digital mixer is actually remote from the shower itself. In fact, it can be situated up to 10 meters away from the shower. It's got a remote wireless control which talks to the controller, gives you precise temperature and flow, and all you have coming through the wall is a single pipe. So it makes the installation a lot easier than having to run two pipes through the wall and then one pipe back out to the shower head. That remote digital mixer can be installed under the bath, so long as it's safely tucked away in terms of the electrics, up in the roof space above the shower itself, or in any adjacent cupboard. Now in this case we've got a cupboard, an old airing cupboard, just behind this wall, so it's really the ideal installation for this shower. At some point it's likely, though not inevitable, that you're going to have to drill some tiles to fit this shower. And a lot of people get very worried about that. There's all kinds of tips about putting bits of masking tape on there to stop the drill skidding around and all kinds of things. I've got my own way of doing it, and I use diamond bits. It's worth investing in a diamond bit because if you're drilling porcelain or something like that, it can be very hard going with an ordinary masonry bit. So I've got this diamond bit here, which is good for about 20 holes in porcelain, so worth having. And what I do is I drill through an offcut of tile first, just find a scrap of tile, go through that so that we've formed ourselves a guide, and then we've got our mark on the wall where we want to drill. And I like to drill on the grout lines if I can, because if you ever need to change the position of the shower, you can do. And then with that held firmly on the wall on a very slow speed, start the drill on a slow speed, and just ease that into the position. And that's all we need to do just to start that drill off. We know now we've got an indent there, we can take that away and continue drilling. This drill works with wax so that it cools it down. If you use other diamond core bits, you need a little bit of water on them to keep them cool. So here's a good idea that can save you some time. You've got one fixed position and one sliding position when you fix the rail. So nominate your hole, the one we've drilled there, and if you want to match up to existing holes where you've removed a shower, all you've got to do is slide that second position up or down until it meets that other hole. It can save you a lot of messing around. The great thing about a digital shower is we've only got to put this one hole through the shower wall, and that's the supply to the shower head. The water comes through already mixed to the right temperature. It's a larger hole, so I'm using a larger core bit to do it, and this is got to be water cooled, so I've got to spray as I go. So we've got a hole drilled through the wall now, and it takes a while to do it. It's porcelain tiles, even with a diamond bit. You can't rush these jobs, it's going to take as long as it takes. So just take it easy, don't put it on hammer drill, whatever you do, and just take your time and you'll get there. Now we've got the hole, I'm going to put the outlet through, and this outlet comes with a bit of 1/2 inch thread on it. So I've got myself a 1/2 inch female iron to compression copper fitting there. I put a rubber washer in the end there. Some people use fibre washers. I like the rubber washers, they're nice and squashy. Make a good seal. You don't need to put any tape on this, you don't need to put any gunge on it, all kinds of sealant and things like that. It'll just do up because it's not under any real pressure. The pressure is before the mixer. Once the water's mixed, it's running free to the shower head, so that will never be under the same kind of pressure that you get on a mixer shower that's in the wall. So very, very little chance of that ever leaking. And now tightening it up, no chance of it leaking. So that goes through the wall. We put a little bit of silicone around that hole, just last thing when we've finished, just to make sure no water seeps through there, but really that's absolutely negligible there. With the shower fitted on the wall, the only other bit of work I've got to do in here is to mount this controller. Now this doesn't have to be mounted under the shower at all. If you want to mount it away from the shower area, which is what I prefer, you can then turn the shower on, select the temperature, and you don't have to get into the shower until it shows that it's reached the right temperature. So I might mount it over on the wall away from the actual shower area, but I'll have a word with the customer first before I do that. This is the heart of the system, the Bristan digital mixer. It's remotely controlled by that control on the shower wall, and we're going to mount it in the cupboard here. It's important when you mount it on the wall that you don't mount it horizontally. It must be vertical so that the pipes are going up and down. It can go that way round with the outlet going downwards, or it can go the way we're going to go, which is that way, but never that way. If it's going into a loft, you can mount it flat. And if it's going under the bath or somewhere, you can also mount it flat there, just on the floor. But in this case, it's nice and convenient for us to go there. Here's the lead to the electricity supply. What I'm using here on the ends are some female iron connectors. Now, when you fit these on, don't be tempted to put sealant on, any gunge like that, because in the end here, we've got filters. The filters go on, and you need periodically to be able to undo those connections and clean the filters. So it's important that you have a couple of isolating valves on so that you can isolate the hot and cold supply, turn those off, undo your filters, clean those out periodically, and then you'll make sure that you get the maximum flow. But those will really seal up just on hand tight, just a tiny turn with a spanner, but nothing too much. On the top, I've used a push fit fitting, which has also got a nice squashy rubber washer seal there. I really like these because, again, they just hand tighten down. You'd never really need to put a wrench on them. You just tighten them down. No sealant, no PTFE tape, nothing like that required. Just firm that up there, and you'll see that that won't leak at all. That'll be absolutely fine. So I've run all this pipe work, and as you can see, it's all been running copper. That's because the householder doesn't trust plastic pipe. They don't like it. They prefer the old-fashioned idea. So that's what I'm going to use here. The only thing is, when I get to here, I don't really want to use a blow lamp on this joint here because that is a plastic connection the other side, and the heat might do some damage. So at this point here, I'm striking a compromise. I'm going for a plastic push fit fitting to make the final connection into there. Then if ever it needs to be removed, it's a very easy job to remove it. I think they put up with this because none of this pipe work here is under any pressure, so I think I can persuade them that plastic's all right in that situation. But as I say, if it was me doing it, I'd probably run the whole lot in plastic anyway. So we'll just give this a little try. set it onto its first setting, which is the Eco setting. It's just running a bit of air through there now. That's full flow, and then it goes right down onto an Eco setting, and it shows us the temperature, and we can up the temperature to whatever we want here. And if it's been going for more than half an hour, it's been running for half an hour, it will automatically cut out, and then you just have to return the lever to off, and then it'll start again. But that half an hour is just to save somebody walking off and leaving the shower in operation. The batteries last a long time, but in the end you have to take front off of the back plate there and replace the batteries, but it will give you an error warning when the batteries are getting low, when it's due for replacement. So I can mount that anywhere I like on the wall. It doesn't have to be under the shower, it can be anywhere within the showering area. I'm just going to ask the customer where they want me to put that before I drill the holes in the wall, and then we'll mount that on the wall, and that's the job done. So that's it, the installation's all complete, and I'm just going to give it a little test. As I say, this hasn't gone onto the wall yet because we're not quite sure where it's going to go, but I can use it remotely like this. I can even turn the shower on lying in bed if I want to, but the cameraman's very keen that I should stand in the bath next to the shower to demonstrate the shower. And you know what? He wants me to get wet. But I'm a plumber, and it's a bad day if you get wet. So here we go. Full setting, 39 degrees. It's a combination boiler, so it'll stabilise in a minute. And we can turn it down, we can turn the flow rate down, right down to the Eco setting. Saves a bit of water. I would just say that if you don't want this arrangement, if you don't want the rising rail flexible hose, you can also get the spray head that comes straight through the ceiling. Bristan do that as an option, and you can have an overhead shower with none of the clutter on the wall. All you'd end up with is this on the wall. That's as easy to pipe in, or even easier to pipe in than this, because you don't have to drill any holes in the tiles. You just take the pipe up into the roof space above, and then it lowers down exactly where you want it. It just couldn't be easier. Bristan Evo Artisan Digital Showers. It's got to be the future of showering.